I don't know what just happened. All right, welcome in. We just had a bit of a glitch. I think the stream started and then it stopped. For whatever reason, it went off, but it looks like we're back online. And our guest has just popped in. We're going to get him on camera. Current. Well, as soon as he gets his camera back up, he was good just a second ago. But
all right, there we go.
There we go. Current pro stock motorcycle points leader, headed into Vegas. Richard Gasdson. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing pretty good, man. How about you, bud?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited to have you on, man. You remind me a lot of the guys that I grew up around at Music City Raceway in Nashville. A lot of the motorcycle racers there.
The Hill.
Oh, yeah. I was born and raised at the Hill, bro.
Yeah.
Super gasser. But you remind me of some of the guys around there and some of the motorcycle racers. And once I started covering NHRA, I've always been a NHRA guy, but once I started covering it for ATYL, it was right about the time you started popping off. You hit the one at Bristol, and then I was like, man, I like this guy. I like this guy. And it was like I said in the text message, I've seen a little bit of shift in your attitude and your swagger and your demeanor at the top end in your interviews, and I'm excited to watch you take that to Vegas. Tell me about how excited you are.
I appreciate that, man. First of all, I'll start by saying I've raced at the Hill. It's one of the places I've raced quite a few times in my career. I used to own the track record on a pro mod bike there, and there's a guy local from Nashville. His name is Pinky. They call him Big Boss.
Oh,
He's quite the character. But
Pinky's is a good race.
Yeah, that's right. And I rode his pro mod for him, and it started to be a little bit too fast to stop up there. But yeah, no, man. I think what you see is a little bit of I don't know if you want to call it swagger. I guess that is what it is. I'm a very modest guy. I'm not a cocky guy at all, but I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable in what I'm able to do, and and to be able to do it deliberately. So when you get kind of in a mode where you're like I know I can go up there and do this all day long, it gives you a little bit of different confidence, different swagger, man. I'm excited heading into Vegas. I have a good lead, but I don't have one that I would call comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Not with Gage Herrera being the guy that's behind me.
Certainly not with a 1.5 coming at Pomona either.
Exactly, with 1.5 at Pomona, this could go. This could go all bad, or if I can keep doing what I'm doing and just keep a steady pace, if I just can, my goals are simple. Obviously I want to go up there and I want to win. I would be content with just going to the finals. Not just, that's hard to do too, right?
Right.
But, I'd be content with going to the finals the next two races. That keeps me where I need to be. If that's the case, even if Gage is the other guy with me and wins. So, you can play scenarios all over. You can play scenarios back and forth every way from Sunday, but I just need to keep my foot on the gas.
Go down there and get the white slip and just keep going back to the staging lanes. That's all you need.
That's it, man. One round at a time.
Yeah, it's that easy. Yeah, I moved away from Nashville back in about 2003, I believe it is when it was. Yeah, my dad was my whole family the super gas racers up there. Been around for a long, long time. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a tough track to race at up there. Um,
Yeah, man, and you haven't been there if it's been that long. I'm sure cars is bracket racing, but man, it's hard to stop the bikes up there, man. It's kind of
well,
yeah. I had my little girl, and I decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop pushing my luck at the hill.
I don't blame you. It's I've seen some people go off the end of there
Yeah,
several times. My dad's been off the end of that place a couple times. But yeah, the downhill in the bowl, that ain't no fun getting down there. Especially
not
if
at
you
all,
catch a
not
beam
at
and get
all.
to bouncing. But
That's right.
going back to what we were talking about, the confidence, the cockiness. What I was talking about is I watched your interview after Bristol. You know, your first win in the year, first win in the pro stock win in the pro stock motorcycle win in your career. Been to several final rounds before, but your interview from there, and kind of your outlook of the season, and versus your interview of down here in Texas when you get off the bike, and she said, you know, well, yeah, how do you feel about your chances? Well, I hope we win it. I want to win it bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very matter of fact, but that's what I'm talking about. It's that confidence of, in Bristol, you get off the bike and you're happy to be there.
Just
Yeah,
thankful
we got to
in
win.
Bristol.
We got to win. Now we're
Yeah.
4 wins into it, 2 into the countdown. Hey, and it's time. It's time to play ball. Like I like the shift in attitude that I'm seeing from you. And I'm a big fan, man. Ever since you won in Bristol, I was like, man, I'm going to be on this dude. He reminds me of back home. Reminds me of back home. But now that I know you raced at the hill, it makes a lot of sense now.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, man, I appreciate it. It was So like, to really understand the context of all of that, like you got to go back to last year. So last year was rough,
Yeah.
man. That was hard to do. I felt like the start of the year, no doubt. I had some things I needed to work on and kind of get comfortable. It was so many things happening at one time. I just moved to Indy. I had a new home. I was a new father, new job, new team, new people. Like it's like I went from racing with people who were like who I've known half my life to racing with people that I don't really know.
Right.
And before this deal with Vance and Hines, I always tuned everything that I rode myself. So I was a rider and tuner. I come into a role here where I'm not the tuner, I'm the rider, and Gage Herrera's the other bike on in the stable, and you got high expectations. It was so many things that was all new. So and to cap it all off, we didn't get to test. We went to Gainesville to test, and I think Mother Nature prevented us from doing that. So my first pass was in
Oh.
front of everybody, Q1.
Ooh.
And that was the case all year. People don't really understand. It's not like we go test and ride these things. My first pass that well, other than the test passes in Vegas, the year prior, just like kind of auditioning, only made 2 full runs. But you guys all got to watch me learn to ride this bike, watch me learn to be, because I never made a pass that you didn't see.
Right.
So I remember I always tell this joke. One time Terry Vance, I can't remember what race it was. It might have been Chicago. I don't remember, but I messed up or something, and he comes to the trail and he's like, "Man, that's because you changed your routine." And I was like, "I don't have a routine. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I'm still trying to figure it out right now while I'm racing." And but I would say Indy. We did Indy had a pre Indy test session, and we went to that test session, and I told Eddie, I told Drew, I was like, "Look, guys, like I'm trying to ride how." I think I'm supposed to ride, or how I'm told to ride,
Right.
or how what I think is working for Gage. I'm just gonna stop doing all that. I'm just gonna start riding how I ride and just get back to the base. I didn't used to think about riding a motorcycle. I popped the clutch in instincts and took over.
Right.
Started that in Indy, and ever since then, I feel like I've been on the road, on a roll. I went to the first 2 finals last year in the countdown, and then my bike just hit a brick wall. It never really was quite as fast as Gage's last year, but it really in St. Louis it wouldn't even run 195 mile an hour, and that was kind of carried over to the end of the year. So when the off season came, I was pretty deflated,
Right.
man. I was great. I was grateful. I don't want to be. I finished number 3 in points, and there's people who would die to be in that
Oh
position
yeah.
that's been out here racing for a long time and was never in that position. But that wasn't exactly my outlook all the time. I felt like, how am I watching the bike 10 feet away from me win almost every race? I feel like I'm riding good. My average light in the countdown was like a 024. Like I feel like I should be doing better, and there was no answers in sight. We didn't know why. We didn't know why the bike was slow. We couldn't figure it out. There was no answers. So Gainesville came, and the only thing we figured out was switch me from the bike I was on to what at last year was our rental bike. Gino Scali rode it,
Right.
and we switched bikes in Gainesville. We went to Gainesville, and the same thing. It would not run like Gage's bike. After Gainesville, Andrew really kind of like dug deep and like tried to figure out what the situation was, and we found it. And I went to Charlotte and went straight to the finals. I was like number two qualifier. I lost in the finals to Matt by like 4 thou, and then I went to and then from there on, from there till now, I think I've earned more points than anybody
Yep.
from Charlotte, the first Charlotte till now. I've earned more points than anybody. So the shift in confidence. I said all that to say the shift in confidence or the shift in interviews and everything. I think is now is like, the first couple times like in Bristol when I won the race, I almost thought like the day kind of came my way, like
Right.
almost like it was luck. Like I have fought through last year, fought through the first part of this year, and it just wasn't happening. This one's kind of almost like, all right, I'm grateful for the win. Then I won Sonoma, and I'm
Yep.
like, another good
We
day.
can do this.
Then I won. I can't remember what I won after that, and then
And Charlotte,
the
right?
next Charlotte race. So now what you hear is me saying I can do this shit.
Yep.
Like it's within grasp. This is not something that was a fluke in Bristol.
Mhm.
This is something that if I can continue to ride how I'm riding, Eddie can continue tuning how he's tuning. I can be I can pull this off. So when I say I want it, it's just there's 8 more rounds of racing left, man. There's 8 more rounds of racing. I need to get. That's how I've broken down the season at this point in my mind. I got to do what I've been doing 8 more times,
That's it.
and I can come home potentially NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champion, which just sounds I can't even. That sounds crazy. I can't believe that's synonymous with me potentially, but we still got a little bit of work left to make it true.
Hey, I'm hoping that I'll be actually in Pomona. I got some of my
Nice.
audience. I'm raffling off some of these hats, and we get all the champions to sign. So I'm hoping that you get one of these. Hoping I get you to sign one of
I
these.
hope
But yeah,
I hope
all
so
that
too,
all that
man.
attitude, man, it's obvious. It's very very obvious. So that's cool. That kind of reaffirms what I've been seeing.
It's not bad, right? It's not
No,
like
no, it's
okay,
no,
cool.
no. It's great. It's great. Like it's not confident. It's not cocky, but it's just confidence. Like what you just said of it's kind of like I got a weight lifted off my shoulder. Figured out what's wrong with my bike. I'm riding like I need to ride. Like I know I can ride. And like that's just coming out in your interviews and how you've gotten more comfortable, man. It's really cool to see. But I want to switch gears a
Man,
little
thank you,
bit,
man.
and I want to go back to your education. Right. You got a mechanical engineering degree from Philadelphia Masterman School, correct?
Yep. So I went to a school. I remember my teachers came and got me out of like second grade. I remember the teacher's name. His name was Mr. Hoffman, and he kept telling the principal, he's like, "This kid is way too." I was just in the public school system in Philly. We didn't grow up in a good area or whatever, so I was in just the school that was down the street. And my teachers kept telling our principal he's way too smart for my
Hmm.
class, our curriculum, whatever. So they started to have me in a program that was called MG, short for mentally gifted, and a tutor kind of like tutored me or taught me pretty much daily for a few periods. And then I went to a high school called Masterman, which was only about the top 100 or so kids in the Delaware tri-state area went to the school. And when I left there, I went to a high school, George Washington Carver High School of Engineering and Science. And I thought that if I, went to a school for engineering, that would carry over, segue into racing. The racing was the plan the whole time. It was never
Right.
anything else. All of this was for this. And then when I graduated there, I went to a school called Widener University in Chester, Pennsylvania, and I studied mechanical engineering. Second year, there's a guy named Cecil Towner from HTP Performance over in Richmond, Virginia,
Mhm.
offered me a job at his bike shop, and I left college and moved to Richmond, Virginia to work at a bike shop, and that's kind of where the journey started. I've been a little bit of a journeyman ever since, man. It's just chasing this. I say sometimes my home was whoever's friend's couching on and was letting me work on or tune their motorcycle for months, weeks at a time. There's sometimes I'm sorry, weeks, months at a time. Sometimes maybe even a year or two. But I lived everywhere from after leaving Philly, from Richmond to Florida to a little bit of Mississippi, a little bit everywhere. Working at shops, just trying to learn. I just had my clothes in the trunk of my car in the trash bag, really.
Sounds
And
like a racer's resume to me.
that was my life for a long time. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have a steady girlfriend or anything like that. So it was just me. That was all I had to worry
Right.
about. And I raced motorcycles. I say between 2000 and I would say 2012 to 2020, I made more laps down a drag strip, I would say, than almost anybody. I don't care
Yeah.
whether it were bikes, cars, or snowmobile, whatever. I think I made more passes down the racetrack than anybody. That was my life. And then it changed a little bit. My girlfriend called one day and told me she was pregnant and I was having a kid, and I had to grow up. So
Yeah, that those calls will make you change gears
yeah,
a little bit.
had to grow up. I started a towing company, and while in the middle of kind of starting a towing company in my first year or two of business, Vance and Hines, Eddie Craywick told me is Charlotte 2023. At the time I was tuning, I was crew chief for Chris Bostic. I was tuning Chris Bostic's bike, and I was
Don't you
helping
leave
him.
till you see me.
Yeah, that's
He's a
right.
Nashville native.
Yep, and I was and I went to it. That's right. I actually was running my towing company out of Nashville because I was
Okay.
racing with him, and the I had a pro stock bike that I was working on riding and tuning at the time myself, and went to Dallas, my first race ever owning in 2022 or three, and qualified ninth. I mean, the first time I rode it was there, and
Right.
so anyway, I think all of that kind of caught the eye of Vance and Hines. I was also tuning Mark Ingerson's clutch, and we were in Charlotte, and man, I was doing bad. The towing company was struggling. I had a little kid at home. I was just like stressed out, man. And I'm walking past the Vance Hines trailer, and Eddie Craywick says, "Hey, come here for a second. Just you got a second?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I walk in the trailer, and he's like, "What's your plans for next year?" And I'm like, "I don't have any plans." And that's how the conversation started, and it kind of ramped up from there till till Vegas 2023, where they let me make a couple passes, and when they offered me the job, I closed the towing company down and I moved to Indianapolis, and that's what it's been ever since.
And here we are. So
Yep.
now leaping back to now with Eddie and do you think how much has your the way you traveled around and had to tune your own bikes for the longest time and you got your mechanical engineering degree, how much do you think that's helped you communicate on a different level possibly with Eddie than maybe just a traditional rider and a crew chief? You got both experiences and can speak the lingo and understand it. How much do you think that's kind of helped speed you up? Because we were only in year two of it, right? And we're 2 wins into the countdown, 4 wins into the season. Like this is good progress. This is great progress, right? So
It's it's immeasurable
it's
how much it helps, to be honest with you. I don't know how good we are, because Gage is the same way.
mhm,
Um, I don't know how good we are as a team if that's not the case.
right.
We got fast motorcycles and we got good tuners and we got good riders. But if those three things aren't in sync and synonymous, then you're just competitive, right?
Hmm.
You just, one of the three or whatever is carrying one of the three is carrying the other two. But when you can come back from a pass, I always tell Eddie, if I don't really know what it's doing or I don't know what I feel, I'm not going to send you in a tailspin and just say anything, because they tune off of what we tell them. If they make a change and I go up there and I got to tell them whether it feels better, worse, feels better in a certain spot, worse in another spot, et cetera, and they rely on that information. And I think that's the gel to the whole thing. People always look at Vance and Hines and they say, "Oh, they don't sell their engines to anybody." No, we do. It's just some of these nuances that I'm telling you right now are the difference makers when you can
The
when you can have
ability to be able to explain.
Exactly.
Yep.
The ability to be able to give feedback, and even deeper than just feedback. I felt like it was slow to be able to say, I
What
think
does
it's
that mean?
because of
Right.
this, or I think this is happening. So it gives them a clear path on what to look for, what to look at, and they would be able to do it even if we couldn't. But it shortens the amount of passes and it shortens the learning curve a lot by being able to have that kind of a relationship with your tuner.
I bet it does. Not not to mention it, you've got all those laps that you made in those years of the experience as well. Regardless of what kind of bike it was on, they're
For sure.
still you're still competing against other people. Um, so you grew up in Philly. What got you in? What got you into motorcycles?
My family, man. This is I was kind of born into it. My father was a my grandfather. Let's start with my grandfather. He was a street racer, like basically kind of a stunt rider. He actually passed away on a motorcycle right around the corner from the house that he lived at the time. My uncle Ricky Gadson. Was his son, and my father was his son, and they both. My father was a street racer, well known through the '80s and '90s, all up and down the East Coast, and he got my uncle into going to the racetrack, and my uncle just kind of took that and ran with it. He
Right.
turned what were street guys into a pro. He took our name onto the pro level, I'd say, and went on to be I think a 15-time national champion now, and the first to ever have a factory backing with Kawasaki, and I just had the bug, man. At 6, my father passed when I was 6, and my uncle,
Yep.
his way of stepping in was to take me racing with him, and I went all around the country with him throughout my whole childhood. I didn't have great attendance in school at all, but I was, I was smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
As
It
long as
didn't matter apparently.
yeah, as long as my grades were up, I could go racing. So
Right.
he took me all around, and man, I remember I was kind of like his video guy. So I sat in the bleachers pretty much all day, and I taped everybody. And I think that was almost like a film study for me. That was me, the repetition of watching people go down the racetrack, seeing different riding styles, riding forms, different ways the bikes, everybody kind of approaches getting a bike down the racetrack differently. And I was able to pick up on a lot of those things. And dude, I just got the bug. So it was a family thing. I've got 4 other siblings, and I was the only one that really just kind of really latched onto this. But everybody in my family rides motorcycles. I was just the only one that really latched onto the racing, and it just kind of went from there. When I was a junior in high school, I was no, maybe sophomore in high school. I was 15 years old, and my uncle, one day I left a school and drove over to Atco, New Jersey, and my uncle had bought a suit from one of his students in his drag racing school. They had a suit that was too small for him,
Right.
and my uncle bought it. And I drove over to Atco on a Tuesday night, and he was like, "You want to ride tonight?" And I was like, "What?" It's only 15. You were supposed to have a driver's license. So he says, "Well, when you go in the staging lanes, sit in the staging lanes and don't take your helmet off because they're gonna know they're gonna know you're too young if they
Right.
just see you." So I was sitting in stage lanes with my helmet and leathers on the whole entire time, and that was my first pass was on a ZX6, so here's how crazy full circle life is. I raced that ZX6 for 2 years or so, and then when I started to get competitive, my engine was slow, but I started riding good.
Right.
And Eddie Krawick got his ride with Vance and Hines, and he was selling the. He had just like, I think he finished number 2 in points, but he had the record, the mile an hour record. He was selling his motor, and I bought the engine out of Eddie Krawick's bike and put it in my bike, and won my first race in St. Louis after my prom. Literally the day after my prom, with Eddie Krawick's engine in my bike. Little did I know he'd end up being my crew chief
That's
someday in the Cherry Pro
That's a
Stock.
heck of a story, man.
Pretty
That's a
crazy,
good
right?
story. That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy how
pretty
it all
crazy.
comes back and it's all connected. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So going out to Vegas, or are we a card player? Are we a gambler at all? We're going to get on the tables.
You know what, man? I'm not really a gambler, but I like to hang out.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of hang out and just watch the people who do gamble. I've once I lose $50 or so, I'm done for the night.
Yep.
I'm out of there. But this race right here is so, it means so much to me, man. I think I'm out on everything. I think I'm
I
gonna just go to the
understand.
room. I think having a full night, good night's rest, will be something that's key for me. So I don't want to come in. I'm hoping I come in. We come in the next day, and all my competitors are hung over and been out all night, and I'm coming with 8-9 hours worth of rest and ready to rock. So I think I'm gonna just kind of just play this one and say I'll party and have a good time afterwards. Hopefully that's just the way this goes.
Oh yeah, it's going to. You're going to be fine no matter what happens. You're going to be fine going into Pomona, and we'll get to the finals and let the chips fall where they may on that.
Yeah. So one thing that's comforting is no matter how Vegas goes,
That's right.
I still go to Pomona. I think somebody said I got to add up the points. No, so if I lose first round and Gage was to win, I'd go to Pomona with 8 points disadvantage.
Right here, yeah,
right.
You're 72.
If yeah, so it's 20 points per round, so he can earn 80 points on me. So wait, second round 20, semis
100.
So he can only earn 60 on me, I think. Actually, wait, 20 for second round, 40 for semis, 60 for the finals. Yeah, so I can only go with an 8 point deficit at worst case.
Right.
So I think that
and that's way in the hunt. That is in the hunt.
That's right. So I think that I'm relaxing in the event because I've gathered enough cushion to make it to where it's not live or die. But what the way my mentality is I feel like I need to win one more, be it Vegas or be it Pomona. I need one more win to really kind of like make it to where I feel good or I'm comfortable, or if it's Pomona I win the championship.
See,
so
this is what I'm talking about. So I want to circle back to the confidence now. See, we're talking about year 2. We're talking. Well, I think I need one more in this countdown. I need one more win in this countdown. And now we've already won 2, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I love it. I love where you're at. I love where you're at mentally. Yeah. I love where you're at. I feel good about it. I feel good about going into Vegas. And I'm on you. I'm pumping it. I'm a Gadson fan. I can't wait to get out to Pomona and visit with you, and hopefully congratulate you, seeing you raise another Wally out there.
I sure hope so too, man. Yeah. Hopefully you can stop by the trailer and we can shake hands. Man. I appreciate
absolutely. It. But hey, man, I greatly appreciate your time tonight. I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know leading the points and fixing to head out to Vegas here probably. Chumming it up with 30 minutes with some guy down in Florida probably wasn't on your agenda, but I greatly appreciate it.
So I'll tell you this before I go.
Yep.
I apologize for being a little bit late. I actually almost forgot. I almost forgot that we were doing this. I'm probably one of the most forgetful people you ever meet. But I got home and I started playing dad and take care of my kid, and I ended up buying this little thing on Marketplace. It's a PlayStation 5. Like portable PlayStation 5. So I'm like, let me see what this thing is about. And I started playing Madden, and when I saw your text come through, I'm like, oh yeah. So that's what I was doing. You actually, honestly, sometimes when you're in a position like I'm in right now, sometimes you kind of detach and you don't want to think about racing.
I understand that.
Or the whole time. So I just Madden was what it was tonight to kind of occupy my mind. But I appreciate you having me on tonight, man. And I'm looking forward to the rest of these races. Looking forward to following your platform and keeping up with you more, man. And if you make it out to Pomona and you get a free minute, dude, just stop by, and I'd love to shake your hand and catch up with you.
Definitely, I'll be there. I'll hold you to that, man. Good luck this weekend in Vegas, and we'll see you in Pomona, man.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Have a good one, dude.
Have a good one. All right, boy, that was cool. Richard Gasdson stopping by, taking some time out of his schedule to stop by and chop it up with us. What a good conversation that was. Take a look at some highlights real quick. 4 career wins, 10 final rounds. Fastest ET, the 670 with a 2, and the fastest speed in a pro stock motorcycle was a 202 mile an hour. But that's going to wrap it up for the night. That was fun. That was a good conversation. That was a great conversation. But we will be back next Monday to talk about the finals in Vegas. Let's see here. They're going to be out in Vegas this weekend. And we will be on next Monday to talk about what happened in Vegas and get prepped for Pomona. Remember, I'm going to Pomona. Again, if you guys want an opportunity to win a hat like what I have on here, I've got 5 of them here. I know the ATYL is backwards in your picture, but it's actually forward in real life. My camera is reversed. But I got a box of 5. I'm going to get each champion to sign the hat. So I'm going to have Pro Stock Motorcycle, hopefully Richard's, Top Fuel, and Funny Car signature on each hat. $5 minimum donation to get your name in the pinwheel. And when I get back from Pomona, I'll be spinning the wheel. Any extra donations I have that allow me to get out there, I want to buy some more hats and some T-shirts out at Pomona, maybe some patches, pins, whatever, and give those away in the raffle too. So if you guys don't mind helping me out, go to the link in my bio, Big Duke Sim Racing on Linktree, and check it out. I've got all the links there. But we're going to head on out for the night. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you, Mr. Richard Gasdson, for taking some time out of your busy schedule. For everybody here at ATYL Media, Miss Taylor Kitchen, this is Big Duke. This has been Nitro Nation. You guys keep digging. Big Duke out.